Hello, my name is Sihan Mane. The title of my analytical report is Mapping Control How IT Structure Shapes Digital Governance. Let's go into setting the scene. The purpose of this report is to critically analyze the thesis that an IT functions organizational structure is the foundational determinant of an organization's ability to effectively govern digital technology. We will explore how structural design choices enhance or severely compromise the mechanism of control. To begin, we must define our key terms. Governance is distinct from management, drawing from Isaka and other scholars. IT governance is domain of board and executive leadership. It defines decision-making rights and responsibilities. Come from Peterson 2004. To ensure it aligns with the business and creates value, IT management conversely executes this direction. It is the plan, build, run, and monitor function. The IT organizational structure is the bridge between the two. It is the formal allocation of authority that dictates reporting lines information flow where decision making power resides. The structure dictates an IS manager's capacity to implement the checks and balances needed for robust governance. Thank you. Theoretical frameworks. To analyze this link, we must first establish our theoretical toolkit. These frameworks are not a random list, they form a nested hierarchy of control. At the highest level, ISO IEC 38500 provides the principles for the corporate governance of IT. It is aimed at the board of directors and provides the evaluate direct monitor or EDM model. This is the what the board's fundamental responsibility. COBIT is the how. It is the comprehensive perspective framework that translates the board's high-level EDM mandate into detailed, auditable processes and control objectives. Importantly, COBIT is a generic and must be customized to the organization's specific context. ITIL provides the on-the-ground processes. It defines the best practices for IT service management, such as change management and incident management. These ITIL processes are the evidence of control that a COBIT-based audit would look for. But which controls do we choose? This is where organizational theory becomes critical. Gabriel's star model provides our alignment framework. It posits that for an organization to be effective, its strategy, structure, processes, rewards, and people must be perfectly aligned. IT governance is a process and it will fall if it is not aligned with organization structure. Finally, Mintzberg configurations gives us archetypes for the structure. For this analysis, we will contrast to the machine bureaucracy, which is rigid, stable, and coordinated by its structure through a standardization of work processes. It is perfect fit for rigid COBIT and ITIL controls. The adhocracy, which is dynamic, innovative, and coordinated by mutual adjustment in project teams. It actively rejects the rigid control of bureaucracy. The IES manager's job is to diagnose their organization's Mintzberg archetype and then use Gabriel's model to build a COBIT or ITIL process that aligns with the structure, all while reporting upwards to the board using the language of ISO 38500. Structural analysis of the IT function. This brings us to the core structural models. Each model directly impacts governance capabilities by defining reporting lines and decision rights. First, the centralized model. Here is a single corporate IT department holds all power and budget. Reporting lines are clear. All IT staff report a single CIO. The governance benefit is immense. It enables standardization, economies of scale, and efficient compliance monitoring. Risk data is aggregated easily. An example is large bank, where the high cost of non-compliance demands this level of central control. Second, the decentralized model. Here, IT functions are embedded with individual business units. The structure is highly responsive and foster innovation. However, it is a disaster for governance. It creates technology silos, duplication of effort, and most dangerously fragmented risk management. A prime example is diversified conglomerate like Johnson and Johnson, where autonomous brands operate in different industries. Third, the hybrid model, which is the most common real-world compromise. It attempts to get the best of both, centralizing Mode 1 functions like infrastructure and security, while decentralizing Model 2 functions like digital innovation. This bimodal IT structure is used by retailers, for example, who run stable on-premise inventory system alongside agile cloud-based e-commerce platforms in Model 2. The governance impact is complexity. This model requires a dual governance system, which creates significant tension between the agile and traditional teams. Finally, the matrix structure. When an employee has dual reporting lines, for example, reporting to the functional IT manager and project manager. This is common in consulting firms. The governance impact ambiguity, the two boss problem, means decision rights are not clear but must be constantly negotiated, relying heavily on cross-functional terms. Structure dictates the feasibility of governance, but processes and committees are the mechanism that actually do the work. Let's look at keep processes in a bi-model structure. A rigid ITIL-based change management process is essential for protecting the Model 1 core, but it will cripple the Model 2 innovation team. This structure demands a dual agile adaptive governance process. Risk assessment is another example. A centralized structure provides the audit committee with a single aggregated view of risk. A decentralized structure creates risk silos. The board, which is legally accountable, cannot monitor what it cannot see. This illustrates the crucial separation of powers between the two primary governance committees. First is the IT steering committee. This is a strategy body composed of business and IT executives. It focuses is alignment and value. It prioritizes projects, allocates resources, and ensures IT is driving the business forward. This committee performs the direct function of ISO 38500. Second is the audit committee. This is an independent oversight body composed of non-executive board members. Its focus is risk and compliance. It oversees the auditors, monitor internal controls, and is now primarily responsible for cybersecurity risk. This is committee perform the evaluate and monitor function of ISO 38500. An effective IS manager must architect an information flow that satisfies both committees. The steering committee wants to create value. The audit committee ensures that value is not created by taking on unseen systematic risk. This theoretical conflict is perfectly illustrated in Australian fast food franchise industry. We will compare Domino's Pizza Enterprises and Pizza Hut Australia. First, Domino's. Domino's corporate strategy is its IT strategy to be technology company that delivers pizza. Their focus is on data analytics, AI, and digital transformation. This strategy dictates their structure, while it is franchise model. Its IT function is highly centralized. In Mintzberg terms, it is a digital machine bureaucracy. The corporate techno structure, the IT department, that standardizes the work of operating core by mandating a single unified digital platform for all ordering, analytics, and operations. This structure enables effective governance. DMP has a formal board level audit and risk committee with oversight of internal controls and risk frameworks. Because the IT structure is centralized, this committee receives a single real time feed of all operational and risk data. The structure is the mechanism of control. Now let's contrast this with Pizza Hut Australia. Pizza Hut's parent, Yum Brands, has a strategy to be the most loved, trusted brand, governed by a global code of conduct. However, their organizational structure is a classic decentralized, diversionalized form. Franchises are autonomous business owners. Critical people and process functions like hiring, payroll, and compliance are fully delegated. Governance is enforced only by a legal contract. This created a catastrophic misalignment in Galbraith's star model. The trusted strategy was completely disconnected from decentralized structure. The result was profound systematic governance failure. The Fair Work Ombudsman FWO audited 34 Pizza Hut franchises and found 24 of them were over 70% were non compliant with Australian workplace law. The breaches were severe systematic misclassification of delivery drivers as independent contractors, paying flat per delivery rate as low as $570, and widespread failure to pay minimum wages and keep proper records. How did the franchisor respond? They couldn't because their decentralized structure gave them no operational control. Their response was limited to working diligently to reinforce to franchises their obligation and facilitate access to training tools. The Pizza Hut case is perfect, devastating example of our thesis. The decentralized structure severely compromised the organization's ability to govern, manage risk, and align with its objectives, leading to massive reputational and legal damage. Based on this analysis, my recommendation for IS managers are clear. First, aggressively align structure, process, and strategy per Gabriel's star model. If your organization like Pizza Hut have decentralized operation structure, but a strategic goal of being trusted, you have to, a critical misalignment. This IS The IS manager must campaign a centralized IT compliance structure. This means mandating a single corporate visible payroll, HR, and risk reporting platform for all autonomous units. Second, for hybrid or bimodal organizations, implement dual governance. Do not try to force a single rigid COVID framework overseeing over an agile innovation team. This will fail. You must establish distinct agile adaptive governance mechanisms for Mode 2 while protecting the Mode 1 core with traditional ITIL controls. Third, architect for visibility. The IS manager's primary role is to ensure the audit and risk committee is never blind. Even in decentralized model, risk and compliance data must be aggregated and reported to a central GRC platform. Finally, consider culture and maturity. A rigid top-down governance structure will be rejected by an innovative advocacy. Governance must be culturally fit and adapted to the organization's digital maturity. To conclude, we return to our original thesis. The organizational structure of the IT function is the foundational determinant of digital governance. The analysis has demonstrated that this is inequivocally true. We found that the theoretical frameworks are not independent, but from a single nested toolkit for aligning an organization's strategic archetype with its board's principles and its operational processes. We saw that the four structural models, centralized, decentralized, hybrid, and matrix, each present a different trade off between control and agility. Finally, the case study provided a stark real world lesson. Dominant centralized IT structure is its mechanism of governance, providing total visibility and control. Conversely, PISA decentralized structure was the root cause of its governance failure. It created data silos that blinded the franchisor, making compliance monitoring impossible and directly leading to systematic brand damage and legal breaches. The implication of graduating IS manager is profound. Your job is not to just to manage technology, but to be an organizational architect. The structure you design for the IT function and the information flows you engineer will directly determine your board's ability to govern. This choice will be foundational determinant of your organization's ability to manage risk, align with its objectives, and achieve success. Thank you.